Hello, hello, hello. I feel
Oh,
like we just waited years
I know, right? That was long.
for that to go. Welcome to this live post-game reaction, a Road Trippin edition. We want to welcome you guys all in. It's been since the Olympics, that grand old time that we have done a live. But as we mentioned, we will be here all season long. We're going to do game of the week. But before we get into tonight's game, which we're going to break down Spurs and Mavericks, I just kind of want to reset the table. I'm Allie Clifton, Richard Jefferson, Kendrick Perkins. Channing Frye is not here. It'll be the three of us cracking tonight. I do want to let everyone know I obviously host pre and post game shows for the Los Angeles Lakers, as well as the Road Trippin podcast. Kendrick Perkins, you see him all over ESPN with all
Oh,
the hot, spicy takes. Congratulations, you got that new contract. So you're going to continue to see him time and time again, and a part of the Road Trippin family, as we
yeah.
announced today. Having said that, Richard Jefferson, he is on more so the game side with ESPN. In case you guys didn't know and you lived under a rock, these two are legends. So I'm super excited to be here with them. And we're excited to chat with you guys. We're excited to break down these games. The chat is active and live. We love it. Love to see it. So throw in your questions, your comments, and we're going to engage with you guys throughout this entire edition. So let's dive right in. Mavs, Spurs. Let's just get right to it. I'll pick up what you guys are throwing down, but Perk, I feel like you got something to say.
I do. Allie, look, I always have something. I always have something to say. I'm gonna say this, okay? Victor Wembanyama, right? No ceiling for his expectations or what he's gonna be in the near future. But tonight, he got his ass locked up. The Dallas Mavericks bigs are so good, starting with Derek Lively. Everybody, and I don't want to overreact to one game, but we know what we just saw. We saw Klay Thompson, a happy Klay, right? Go out there and have 20 plus points tonight on his debut. But I was saying this: Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford are so good defensively, so athletic that Kyrie Irving, Luka, and Klay, they just got to put forth the effort defensively. Just try a little bit because those guys are so great. But their defense tonight on Victor Wembanyama, they made it uncomfortable for him. They got physical with him. They contested every shot. They stayed down on pump fakes. They made him work all night long. And I know Luka and Klay and Kyrie, because of their offensive package, they're going to get a lot of the credit which they deserve. But those bigs are huge. What they able to do, they're huge.
So I did the first game, Wemby's first game last year, and it was against the Dallas Mavericks, and it was in San Antonio. And Derek Lively, he didn't start in the first half, but he started in the second half. He was the most impressive player, I would say. You know what you're going to get from Luka. You know what you're going to get from like these different guys. Obviously, Wemby, he was still, figuring it out. Like we know what Wemby is. He's the monster, the rookie of the year.
Mm.
But Derek Lively was the surprise player, and they didn't start him. And we were like, dude, they need to start this man. They started him in the second half. And then Derek Lively introduced himself to America, and we saw what he did throughout the postseason. So coming into this game, I knew there was going to be a tremendous amount of confidence. He's like, there's no like respect factor. There's like, oh no, I know. And I believe Derek Lively had a double-double in his first game ever.
15 and 11, this one or last year?
No, last year.
Oh,
Yeah.
Last year. I believe he had a double-double last year, like in his first rookie game. Again, he was a top 10 pick. Wemby, they're both centers. So there's like, I don't want to say rivalry by any means. I mean, from a space of like, oh, he's one of the people that I'm going to have to guard my entire life, like set the tone.
Mhm.
And to watch them kind of add to that. And yes, we're going to get into the Klay. Klay was so special. Like Klay was what you expect. Again, people don't understand the amount of like stress relief when you're like free and you're like, hey, this is where I want to be. And that's not a knock on the Warriors and that he was unhappy, but obviously there was something underlying going there and it affected his performance. Everyone saw that. It affected his focus. It affected his performance. I played with Klay. I played against Klay. The Klay that we saw the last little bit was not him. And I'm happy for him. This is one game. This is just one. We're not going to overreact, but it looks like he's going to be in a perfect spot where he's depended on to do what he does well, and that is spot up and shoot, and he is one of the greatest that we have ever seen at that.
I'm glad you went to Klay right away, because there's a lot that we can dive into. I just saw actually at the top of our chat, Screw41 said, Shaq just said the Mavs are going to win the championship. And I actually have a question for you guys, just wondering what the realistic expectations. Again, we don't want to overreact. It is game one. They are coming off of a finals appearance last year. But I do want to dive into the Klay aspect first before we get into the Mavs as a whole. Obviously, he sets the record for threes by a Mavs player in their debut. He's 6 of 10. The Mavs shot 19 of 44 overall from deep. But I don't think that it was just the 22 points from Klay or Perk and Rich, as you guys kind of mentioned, how happy he looked. Not a knock to the Warriors, the 4-time champ with them. But what about the defense? What about the 3 steals? What about the 7 rebounds? What about the other kinds of contributions that he may be in a position to, or maybe just the change that allows him to now be this kind of player at this stage of his career?
What about the basketball whisperer? Like, you know how they have the dog whisper? Like, yeah. J Kidd has become that. Look at what J Kidd has done with Kyrie Irving. When everyone thought that, including myself, that Kyrie Irving didn't want to play the game of basketball. J Kidd and the Dallas Mavericks, what they did, they massaged Kyrie Irving. They let him be Kyrie Irving, right? They set up rooms for him to, be able to go and do whatever he needed to do outside of basketball on the road. They catered to him, and then they got the best version of Kyrie Irving. The Dallas Mavericks are historical for catering to their players and getting the fucking best out of them. We saw, look, last year, Klay was unhappy. Klay was still top 5 in three-point percentage. Klay Thompson still shot, 39-40% from the three.
On his worst year. On his worst year,
right?
Where he was not happy.
He was not happy. A not happy Klay still averaged 17 points a game for the Warriors. Now you get a happy Klay offensively and an engaged Klay defensively. And again, Allie, to your point, when you have athletic bigs that can anchor your defense with a high IQ, it allows you to do so much on the perimeter. Now you could go for steals. You could gamble. You could press up on guys, because now all of a sudden they're not going to – if they blow by you, you still have a chance to recover, because they're not going to attack the basket all the way.
And Perk, there's 2 of them. So even if one gets in foul trouble, yes, they got 2 DeAndre Jordans. They got 2 Tyson Chandlers. They got 2 of them. 2 of them that are like, this is my role, and I want to excel at that. I don't think people understand how freaking rare that is, because if a big gets in foul trouble and he has to go out, you almost have to change the way you play, because maybe the other big is a stretch. Maybe the other big is not as dynamic of a roller or does this. They have 2 identical twin-headed monsters. So if one gets in foul trouble, whatever, it's equal footing. That means that they can play a consistent pace no matter what. No foul trouble, this, whatever. We want to go small, we'll go small. But we got 2 of them. And that makes them different when you have the pick and roll players like Kyrie, the pick and roll players like Luka, 2 of the top 7 in the game or 6 in the game, and just pick and roll. Come on.
And look, it's great too, because now it's okay to have competition within the locker room.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Daniel
good, healthy.
Hell yeah, because Daniel Gafford got Derek Lively looking over his shoulder, meaning every single night you got to bring it. Otherwise, we could come in with Gafford. And Gafford knows that I got to stay on my stuff, because I got this young buck who's going to continue to get better. Now, to the big Diesel. Keep a cool booty, big fella. I'm not saying that
Wait, I'm sorry, what? Who?
Keep a cool booty.
You talking about who? Who are you talking to?
Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about Shaq with the Dallas Mavericks winning it all.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Look, they're going to be in the thick of things. I won't disrespect them to that nature. They went to the NBA Finals, but that damn Celtic team over there, the athleticism, that pissed off Jason Tatum, that pissed off Jaylen Brown. Look, we're not going to go. Who giving me a thumbs down? Is there somebody in the chat?
You are. You are. Welcome to
Okay,
2024.
Is it like you know what I'm saying? I ain't touched nothing, so like
Per, can I wait really quick? Can I add to your point and then let you finish it? The one thing I want to hear your thoughts are now that they have a year, Derek Lively, all of these guys, they saw how they were defended. They saw how they were defended and how the Boston Celtics defended against them. Now, and great coaches will go into the season and like one game, we're going to try this. Another game, T. Lue was a master at that. We would just be practicing stuff in December, knowing that it was going to be for when we got to the playoffs, only against the Warriors. I swear to you, he was like, I want to practice this switch on this pin down. So we would spend 10, 15 minutes doing it. So when he introduced it to us in June, it wasn't foreign to us. We're like, oh, we've been practicing it. We know the communication. We know the timing. So when I look at it, it's like, if there is a rematch, adding Klay, and now they're like, okay, well, they took away our corner threes. How are we going to combat that? They did this. And now we can kind of tweak it and practice it. I think that matchup is far more intriguing right now than I think we would think.
Thanks to our listeners and viewers. They also threw in there that Shaq followed up with the Mavs will win a championship if Klay averages 20 a game.
Ooh.
That's
if he, I think I could see him averaging 20 in the finals. I could see him averaging 20 through the playoffs. But to do that through 82 and that, I think that's. I'm not saying he can't, Klay. I'm not saying you can't. I'm saying that I don't think he would be best served if his usage rate was that high.
I agree. And see, the only problem with that's a big if, because asking Klay to average 20 in the finals if you meet up with the Boston Celtics with that perimeter defense. See, the best thing about the great thing about the Celtics is that they don't have to rely on help. They have so many guys that can slide those puppies and take on the challenge individually. Offensively, here goes the challenge again. 5 out with so many guys that can create off the dribble. Again, but this is not about the Celtics.
Okay.
This is about the Dallas Mavericks. Do I think they could get back to the finals? Absolutely. I also believe this. The Dallas Mavericks in the Western Conference are going to be the best offensive team in the West. They're going to put up so many points. You can't stop them. Klay is going to get wide open looks after wide open looks. This is the first game. And when you have these dynamic rollers, these lob threat guys, the way that they suck in the defense, Klay is going to be wide open. Like Kyrie and Luka should kill.
Well, but also if Klay's not wide open, which we know that will never be the game plan, you have to keep a body to him. When they keep a body to him, that means the lanes for Kyrie and Luka open up even more. Like, you don't have a guy that can hit a shot. You have a guy that for his entire career, the game plan has been and will always be stay to his chest, do not leave him. Like, that is a different that's a whole different monster. It's like Kevin, like when we won the championship in 16 and lost in 17, we could figure out the defense with Steph and Klay. You can't figure out the defense with Steph, Klay, and KD. There is no defense. There is no defense.
To those in our chat, we're going to get to the Spurs in just 1 second, but we're not done with the Mavericks. Luka didn't play all preseason, had the injury, the calf strain. Obviously, he plays tonight 28, 10, and 8. Overall, big picture, what did you need to see? What do you need to see from Luka? Because I think he's the biggest piece to this entire Mavs puzzle. In terms of the Mavericks actually meeting expectations.
If they have 80% health, I believe that this team is a 1-2 type seed, and this could be Luka's MVP year. This is the most talented roster he's ever had. This is a talent that complements him the best. This is the only way to go above what Luka has currently, in my opinion, is to load his roster, to like overload his roster. And it's like, oh, this is the best. This is a well-structured NBA team that has duplicates in the positions that they need. They have depth. They have star power. If they get 80% health throughout their roster, then I think this could be Luka's MVP year. And I do. I think this could be Luka's MVP year. I think he's one of those guys that could see it in his grasp and then like could go get it. Like he's a special, different type of player. Like he could get to 60 games left and be like, oh, you guys want me to put on some 40 balls? You guys want me to put up some numbers that have never been seen? Watch this. And then his team is in second place or third place, and that's his MVP year. I love what Dallas has done. Again, I'm not overreacting saying they're going to win a championship. They're coming off they're coming off an NBA Finals. They're looking better, and I like it.
Perk, I know he's in here.
Yeah, I'm right here.
There you are.
I'm right here.
I believe, Rich, if I'm not mistaken, we did preseason predictions for the season, obviously, but during the preseason, and your early MVP, I know Mike Breen does not like that. I heard him say that on the broadcast last night with you in Philly, was Luka.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a realistic?
Yeah. You know,
I'm asking Perk. Sorry.
Oh, I was like, okay, my bad. I was like,
what was it?
Luka for MVP.
Yeah. It's very realistic, right? Like, what's going to stop him from getting it? He's gonna have the assists. He's going to have the rebounds, and he's definitely going to have the points. And Richard said something that was smart about a month ago for once in his life. He said that you look at all the other the former MVPs over the last, 5 years, you got to check the other boxes outside of the points, right? Joel Embiid, double-figure rebounds. Jokic, double-figure rebounds and assists. Like, you got to have – Luka is going to have those to be able to compete with the others who's going to fill up the stat sheet. Can y'all see me?
No, we can't. We need to see. I want to address something in the comments.
You're dark, but you're not that dark.
No, so here's the problem. What's going on, y'all?
Turn your camera on.
Seriously, I did. It's a problem that's going on, right? Look, it's a problem with my phone. My phone went out yesterday. It's going to go out again. So I have somebody listen. Hold on, I'm sorry. Look, it's going to go out again. I'm telling you, and I don't know when it's going to cut back on. I have someone coming to fix my phone. Okay, don't laugh at me.
Before we lose you, can we address some things in the comments?
What's that?
Yeah.
James Spar is talking about Perk getting a donut break. Clearly, it's just his phone.
Well, damn.
But then Lisa talking about, is Richard on a diet? My God,
that sweatshirt is a little baggy, bro.
No, it's just because I'm sitting in this big chair, so then it starts like sagging on me like I'm a little kid, you know.
Nunya Beeswax. Let's transition.
Wait, really quickly. Jonathan Woodall, Lively is not asked to do as much as Wemby. No shit, bro. Like, yeah, we know that. Like, we're not comparing Wemby. We're just merely stating that, like, defensively, he's the quality of defender that Lively is a good match. It's a good matchup for Lively versus Wemby. That's all we're saying. That's a good matchup there's not many people on the planet Giannis is one of them, right? Like, there's certain people that match up well with him. That's all we're saying. Like, same responsibility. It's not even remotely close. Thank you for stating the obvious. Continue.
Okay, let's get into the Spurs. And Perk, I need your take on this before we do lose you. Nunya Beeswax, first of all, love the name. Saying, I really thought Wemby might be an MVP talk this year, but he looked really, really bad. And Dallas just stopped caring about him in the last 11 minutes of the game. Completely outplayed by D-Live. There you go. You see it right there.
Yeah, but who said that?
Nunya Beeswax.
Okay, Nunya Beeswax. You keep a cool booty, right? It's game 1 of 82. Wemby is going to be fine. The one thing we know about Victor Wembanyama, right? He's going to lose sleep over this game. He will be better the next game. He puts his heart and soul into basketball. Like, he wants to be great. He's not okay with this, right? Like, he's going to be better. It's just they got punched in the mouth. He got punched in the mouth. Like Derek Lively.
One game.
It's one game. Like, everybody be cool.
Yeah, Spurs are gonna Devin Vassell, no Vassell.
They need him, by the way. They definitely need him.
Hey, He's one of those players that I think this year a lot more people are going to actually see how good he is. He's tall. Like when I saw him as his fadeaway little jump shots, he was nice. But then I get next to him, I'm like, man, this dude's taller than me. I'm like, that's when I was like, oh, he's different. He's built a little different. So no, I think the Spurs are, and with Chris Paul, it's like going to basketball class. Where their basketball IQ at game 20, 40, 60 will be so much higher than it is right now. It's not where they will be in game 60 is as long as they stay healthy. It's so much different than where they're going to be now because Chris Paul is going to teach them. They're going to retain that knowledge. They're going to become a cohesive unit. That's why Chris Paul is Chris Paul. Like he might not be able to go give you 20 and 10, but that brain still works the exact same. His brain still works the same.
What do you have tonight? Chris Paul, 3 points, but like 7 assists, 7 rebounds.
That's his role. He's not even looking to shoot.
He's
not even looking to shoot.
Playing 29 minutes.
He's gonna be better too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Joe Mama, tell him to say it again. Perk, will you say none your beeswax?
None your beeswax.
I'm here for it. Can we talk about Harrison Barnes?
Shout out HB.
He looked good.
Yeah.
He's a perfect vet. Like that was, again, I was disappointed last year when the Spurs didn't have these vets. You don't need great players. You need good professional vets that are great voices in the locker room. And the Spurs have had them for 30 years. Avery Johnson, Sean Elliott, David Robinson, Tim Duncan. He lasted for 20 years. And then all of a sudden there was this gap. And yeah, they had good teams with LaMarcus and DeMar and whatever. But now that you have Tim Duncan had David Robinson and Avery Johnson, right, when he first showed up. And they were a good team, but he had them. Like, they didn't have that for Wemby. And it's like, I'm glad that they have these type of players. And Harrison Barnes is one of those true, like, OG professional guys now. I can't believe I had him as a rookie. And now I'm talking about him being the old wily vet.
Yeah. Stretch the floor.
And he brought that stability. He had 17. He was efficient. I think Harrison Barnes and Klay Thompson need more praise for how well they played in a new system.
Yeah.
Max. Yeah, love it. Big question. Will the Spurs make the playoffs?
They'll be in the play-in.
Wemby said, Perk, go ahead, Perk, sorry.
They'll be in the play-in, but it's going to be tough. Matter of fact, let me say this. It's going to be tough for every single team in the league. The league is that good. The talent is spread out. And this is why, not to get off topic, but I got to go here. This is why I don't agree with the Philadelphia 76ers as far as the Joel Embiid not playing all back-to-backs. It's a problem because although you're looking and you're waiting for the playoffs, you got to get to the playoffs. It's going to be so hard every single night just to win in this league in the regular season. Think how many teams are good in the Western Conference. It's about 10. You could make a legit case that 10 teams are going to be probably, 2-3 games above 500. Like, you know what I mean? Like last year, I think at the 10th spot, the team that was at the 10th spot had like 44 wins. Think how good the Eastern Conference then got, right? Like, so every single night you're going to have to lace them up and strap your boots up. And so when I think about the San Antonio Spurs, the level of focus, like Victor cannot have no more of these type games. In order for the Spurs to be in the play-in tournament, like he's going to have to be at a level of like a Giannis. Giannis' bad night, he's walking off the floor with 20 and 10. And we like, oh, Giannis played horrible.
Hey, really quick, Perk. My thing with Philly is that I'm not saying Joel needs to play, should play back-to-backs. If your body can't do it, your body can't do it. That's not the point that I'm trying to make. I'm saying that is going to impact their chances of winning the overall championship. That's all I'm saying.
I agree, but that's you got to get there.
That's I'm like, this is like, okay, that's fine. You're going to almost like maybe say like we're going to win 5 or 6. We're going to have 5 or 6 less wins off back-to-backs. And we're going to concede that for the health of our best player. But now instead of being the 3 seed or the 2 seed, the possibly 1 seed, if he was a healthy player, which he's not, it's okay. Then now I'm not saying it's okay. That's just the way his body is. If that's not the case, then that means you're going to be the 4 seed and you're going to have a much harder route. You're going to be the 6 seed and you're going to have a much harder route. That's going to decrease your chances of winning a championship. That's why it's hard to say like the Sixers are the favorites. If they're healthy in April, anything can happen. But their path without him doing that is going to be harder than most teams that have primarily healthy players available.
I agree.
I know you got to run. I want to end with this really quick, and then we'll let you go. Of all the opening nights we have seen, there's 2 games going on as we speak. The Nuggets, obviously, and the Thunder, so excusing that, and then the Kings, their matchup right now. Of all the opening nights that we've seen so far, who has stood out to you most?
The defending champs. The defending champs.
That looks scary. They look scary.
Because I was in preseason like, oh, yeah, the Knicks ready to look at them. OKC got better. And it wasn't what they did to the Knicks. It was how they did it. For them to come out and not only shoot the ball the way that they did, but play pissed off like they have something to prove. And on top of that, they are in great shape. Like Jaylen Brown, excellent shape. Jason Tatum, outstanding shape.
He looked like he was ready to prove something.
Derek White and Drew Holiday, like Derek White had 21, 22 points quietly. But it was impactful. No Kristaps Porzingis. And then the bench, Peyton Pritchard said, at all times, those guys got fucking 4 3-point shooters on the floor. No other team, that shit is crazy. And it was just like Jaylen Brown was like, oh, yeah, I'm mad for JT. I'm like, damn.
We're not going to get into that.
No, we're not going to get. I'm just saying.
We need Mark to be on screen for that.
Yeah, we're not going to get into that. But, yeah, no, NBA season's here.
Is that your team, Rich? Is that your team that's about to?
Yeah, 100. Well,
Celtics?
Again, it's the way too early prediction game. It's like you
Absolutely.
look at the one thing I will say, and Perk will understand this, as will you. It's like when you see an elite team looking elite early. Like when you see that looking elite, it doesn't mean that they're not going to have ups and downs and they're not going to this and Andrew, but it's like, oh no, they know the formula now. They know the formula, the defense, the rotation, the communication, the hustle. They're not going to hit 29 threes every night, but them bad boys could have hit 20 threes and still won.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that means that they have a bigger room for error. And that's what the KD Warriors, like that group, that's the window. They had such a room for error. Right. Like that's why they were able to win so many. And even though they weren't like trying to go get 73, you knew that like once they were in a space, it was no stopping them.
Yeah. Fair. Awesome. You guys are wonderful. This is just a little hit it, quit it, say we did it. We're going to wrap this thing up now. But as you guys all know, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Road Trippin YouTube channel. We're going to be going live once a week on Game of the Week. We'll let you know on all of our Road Trippin channels. We also just got word that we can allow our listeners, viewers, you guys to call in and we could put you on the show throughout our lives, which would be really fun. I know, Rich, you're looking forward to that. So in the weeks to come,
anything's better than Perk. Anything's better than Perk.
Spicy. But for now, that'll do it for this